our talk show, and we are counting down the major moments in history, in European history, that is. Okay, let's start off.
We start our recap of European history with the bubonic plague from 1346 to 1353. It arrived in Messina, Italy in 1347 and spread throughout Europe ever since. The plague had 50 million dead, and it was spread through low standards of personal hygiene. Due to the millions dying, there was a great increase of demands for labor. Therefore, those who were lucky enough to survive created a new generation of men, those who worked and got paid very well. The plague also got rid of many moral clergy members. All that stayed to help died. Life is also illustrated through various artworks shown. As you can see here, skeletons dancing show dominance that death had over regular life. To sum it up, the Black Plague, leaving 50 million dead, left Europe shaken
and caused great problems for future generations.
The next big event was followed by the Renaissance in 1350 into 1550, which brought an emergence of secularism and concern with the material world. For example, busy bankers in Italy focused on economics than religion. It also brought humanism, the study of Latin classics, and individualism, which was stressed personality, uniqueness, and geniuses, and full development of talent. Workers had driving ambition, and artists were well paid and popular. The effects were that it gave a new outlook on life and a new class of artists, and they were well praised.
The Renaissance were good because it brought a lot of ideas. Pretty Gucci, guys. Pretty Gucci.
Next up, we have the Reformation from 1500 to 1600. The Reformation was the emergence of Protestantism. In autumn of 1517, Martin Luther posted the 95 Theses on the Castle Church in Wittenberg. Here he talked about all of his grievances toward the church, especially the indulgences. The Pope was the ruler of papal states, which controlled taxes, army, and politics. This had to go. Certain things that happened during the Reformation was the Council of Trent. The Catholic Church passed reforms. For example, they abolished pluralism and simony, and they had to train the clergy instead of just becoming one. This made the Catholic Church less corrupt. The 30 Years' War was another conflict between Protestants and Catholics. It ended with the Peace of Westphalia. It was a turning point in European political, religious, and social history. Conflicts over religious faiths ended. It denied the papacy's right to participate in German religious affairs.
The Reformation was very good because it lessened the power of the Roman Catholic Church.
The scientific revolution was a positive effect on history because it brought people away from the church and gave them new ideals. The scientific revolution was during the 17th century, and it brought many scientific advances. For example, to start off the scientific revolution, Copernicus developed the heliocentric theory, which was against Aristotle's geocentric theory.
Copernicus's theories spread to many scientists. In royal courts, kings, dukes, and other ruling nobles were determined to show off both their wealth and their virtue by patronizing not only great artists and musicians, but also natural philosophers and scientists. Also, royal societies, such as the Royal Society of London in the 1660s, developed, and small universities. Eventually, science overcame the strongholds that the church had.
The scientific revolution, that was some great stuff there. The Enlightenment was good because it paved the way for new political ideas and paved the way for new revolution, and it really changed a lot of minds.
Next we have the French Revolution. Later in 1791 to 1794 was the radical stage, where Robespierre, later the Jacobins, started the Reign of Terror and the Committee of Public Safety. This was a very bad outcome in history, and 400,000 to 200,000 people were put into prison, and 25,000 to 50,000 died. In 1793, Louis XVI was executed. Eventually, when the French Revolution calmed down, it seemed like everything would be good, until a military dictatorship, the Directory, took over. But luckily, it was overthrown in 1799 by Napoleon, who created, in 1804, the Napoleon Empire.
Therefore, the French Revolution, regardless of violence, was a great part in French history because it marked the beginning of a new government.
Major movement in history was the transit from the cottage industry to the industrial society, known as the Industrial Revolution. With the emergence of the steam engine by James Watt, factory workers were able to create one single product and mass produce it over and over again. And so emerged a new class of factory workers living in urban societies such as Manchester, England, and also a new class of wealthy middle-class
Factory owners.
Although some were opposed to this new way of work, in the long run, the Industrial Revolution was a very key part in history. Without the Industrial Revolution, life today would be quite different.
Imperialism had harsh effects on unconquered countries. For example, Leopold went to Congo for factory expansion and killed many natives. The British forced China to sell opium in their country and forced China to give up Hong Kong to Britain in the Treaty of Nanking. Britain also controlled India in 1858. Many European countries during the 19th century tried gaining control of land in Africa. There were many conflicts regarding imperialism. It's quite ironic that the white man's burden was to help the natives, but only led to the slaughter of the people by machine guns.
Imperialism. I feel like that's a boo side. That was a boo side. I agree with you, Miles.
The First World War was a major part in history. It occurred from 1914 to 1918 between the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. It was hoped to be a quick war, and many countries embraced it at first. It's hard to find any real benefits from the war in the end. This war created a loss of virtually an entire population due to the tedious trench war and the mass participation. It also was followed by an age of anxiety. Lastly, the treaty to end the war, known as the Treaty of Versailles, was hated by Germany and was partly a reason for the emergence of the Second World War. World War II occurred from 1939 to 1945, with the emergence of intense and fascist leaders such as Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. This war was a brutal war due to Germany's Blitzkrieg or lightning war, used often as a tactic. Also, Hitler's army of Nazis and use of concentration camps killed millions of innocent people. Germany and the Soviets eventually turned on each other. As a result, when the war ended, Soviet Russia was left paranoid, while Britain, France, and Germany was exhausted. But all in all, the Second World War, alike to the first, ended with destruction not only to soldiers but to the whole country, and greatly affected generations to come.
Russia during the Cold War was a communist country and had MAD conflicts with the USA and spread communism into other countries, which was a bad thing. But Gorbachev dissolved the Soviet Union and Russia was no longer communist, but later Yeltsin destroyed the Russian economy in one day. Hey Maya, do you have— oh my god, what's wrong with you?
I don't know. I was just sitting here with my pet rat in the bathroom. What's wrong with me?
I don't know, it seems like from your arms, it seems like you got the Black Plague and you got it real bad.
What? No, I didn't. My arm's totally fine.
So was my face. You must be lying to me.
Nope, man, I'm telling the truth. It's real bad. Oh my god, you're dying!
Talking about